In week 3, you are going to perform a trans-esterification reaction by reacting your purified ester with a 3,5-dinitrobenzoic acid. During the trans-esterification reaction, the original acid part is being replaced. The original alcohol part, shown in blue, is being kept in your final product. The resulting ester should be a solid. To set up the reaction, in a 25 ml round bottom flask, mix 2 ml pure ester, 2 drops of concentrated sulfuric acid, and 1.5 grams of 3,5-dinitrobenzoic acid, which is a solid. To the flask, add several pieces of a boiling stone. Then set up the reflux. Set up the reflux apparatus following the picture in this slide. Remember to prepare a drying tube with calcium chloride and attach this drying tube to the reflux condenser. Wait until the reflux starts. Ask your partner to watch your reflux while you take your ester to the prep room to do the refractive index measurement. Record your refractive index on your datasheet. Let the reflux continue for 1 hour and then cool the reaction mixture to room temperature. Get ready for liquid-liquid extraction. During the reflux, you might be able to see solids. Follow the instructions on the table in the prep room to do your refractive index measurement. Use ethanol to clean the prism and dry the prism by dabbing with a piece of Kim wipe. Do not wipe to avoid scratches. Place drops of your ester onto the prism to cover the whole surface. Make sure you use glass pipettes. These pipettes must be discarded in the broken glass container when you finish. Do not forget to record the temperature and calculate the refractive index at 20 degrees Celsius using the following equation. The refractive index at 20 degrees Celsius equals the refractive index you collected at the temperature you recorded plus your temperature minus 20 degrees Celsius times 0.0045. You must show the calculations in your lab report and make sure you know this equation. Such calculations may appear in the final exam. After refluxing for 1 hour for the trans-esterification reaction and cool the reaction mixture to room temperature, you are ready to do the liquid-liquid extraction to extract your trans-esterification product. First of all, you pour your reaction mixture into a septic funnel. You can use about 25 ml of ether to help transfer all the contents in your round bottom flask to the septic funnel. The ether can be divided into several portions. After everything in your round bottom flask is being transferred to the septic funnel, add 15 ml 5% of sodium carbonate solution. Cap the septic funnel, shake, vent, and leave the septic funnel sit in a rain stand to let the layers separate. Make sure you want to remove the cap so that the layers can separate quickly. Test the pH of the aqueous layer by draining drops of the aqueous layer onto a piece of pH paper. Drain the aqueous layer out into a beaker. If the pH of the aqueous layer is less than 7, you have to wash the ether layer again with another 15 ml 5% sodium carbonate solution. Test the pH of the aqueous layer again. If it's still less than 7, you have to wash the ether layer again using another 15 ml 5% sodium carbonate solution. Eventually, the pH of the aqueous layer is greater than 7. You can drain the water layer out to a beaker and wash the ether layer with 15 ml DI water. After washing the ether layer with DI water, drain the aqueous layer out, and you have your final cleaned ether layer. Please read the instructions on this page very carefully and follow the sequence to do the liquid-liquid extraction. Finally, drain the final ether layer to a dry and clean beaker. Add 2 scoopula of magnesium sulfate to dry the ether layer. Gently swirl the content. Make sure the solid is floating freely in the solution. Set up gravity filtration and drain the solution directly to a dry round bottom flask. Rotary evaporation to remove ether. You should have an oil left in your flask. Some of you might be able to see solid. At this point, set your flask aside. Boil 10 ml of ethanol in a hot water bath. Do not directly boil ethanol on top of the hot plate because ethanol is flammable. If you boil ethanol directly on a hot plate, it might catch on fire. Place 3 to 5 ml boiling ethanol in your round bottom flask containing your residue. Swirl to dissolve as much materials as possible. Then slowly add boiling DI water to the flask until the mixture is cloudy. Now you can place the round bottom flask in ice to cool for at least 15 minutes for crystallization to finish. You may have to scrape the flask wall using a stir rod or spatula to induce crystallization. Vacuum filtration to collect the solids and dry and store the solid for the next week.